Okay, so the second project of the semester is to just create a simple survey. And you can read through the discussion here. There are some required elements. You have to have a title, a heading, a description, at least 2 text fields, one for a name, one for an email. A hidden field that sends some super secret information. We're going to talk all about these fields today, so don't worry. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but a radio group or a select group or both, and we'll discuss those. You already know what a radio group is. And you know what a select group is. It's a bunch of options, so it's like a drop down. A group of checkboxes, one of those check all that applies sort of a thing. A text area for some comments, and then a submit button. Those are the required elements, and you have a form that uses the post method. Right? I think we did post for the extra credit. Am I correct on project 1? I think yes. It's the same thing. So when you use the post method, and let's say you have a text box with a name of my name, right? And you press submit, how are you going to access that data in the form? Okay, so you've got an input. Name equals, my name. Type equals text. Okay, it's a post. Okay, so your method is post. You click enter or you click submit. How do you get this data in your processing program? How do you access it?
You put my name in the post.
So be very specific, left to right. What am I going to have?
You would have the open PHP.
Just that variable.
The $sign underscore capital post.
Good.
Brackets. Single quotes, and then
single or double actually, but yeah, okay. So by standardization, I tend to use single, but either way. And
then my name.
Good. Exactly.
In the same.
And that memory location in the processing program will contain the data that you submit. Fantastic. Okay? And that's the case with all of these. So hidden fields, radio groups, selects, text areas, they all have names that are associated with the post variable or the get variable if you're using a get method, right, in the processing program. Good. All right. There are some other elements, like there are some required elements, and just the standardization is use a red asterisk or something to that effect that says, hey, this is a required field, so may indicate it as such. Use label tags for a good user experience. We'll talk about that, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, and then there are some requirements. You have to make sure that at least something was entered for a name, at least 2 characters in the name. At the very least, make sure that the @ symbol is in the email address. You can do better than that. You can make sure that there's an @ and a dot, and that the dot comes after the @ sort of a thing. And make sure that something was chosen from the required radio or select group. Okay, and then there's some more information here. So you can read through all that. And I have an example up here on the website, and it's in the share directory, week 3. And I call it Monty because I should probably have a better name for it, but it's the sample form for project 2. And that's what it looks like. Okay, and it's I think it might be a little bit different than what's on the printout of the project description, but you have a required heading, a description. I mean, it's not a very good description. You can do better. What's your name? What's your email address? What's your quest? Select one. You get to select one.
You make your own.
You're going to make your own. You're not doing this. You're making your own survey. That, for a lot of people, that's the hardest part, to figure out what to ask.
Be creative.
Just be creative. Yeah, have fun with it. Or do something that you need to do. But for most people, it's just kind of be a creativity thing. And do something that you feel like doing, because we're going to actually revisit this project, I think, in the 4th project, and completely revamp it to do all kinds of other stuff with it also, sticky forms and that sort of thing. We'll get to that, okay? So make it something that you can deal with for the rest of the semester. What are your favorite colors? Now notice that I can choose multiple colors here. So, and also I believe, notice from the convenience thing where by using appropriate labels, if I just click the label yellow, it selects and deselects the checkbox. And the same here with the radio box. By selecting the label, it selects the corresponding radio box.
If you click other, will it put an info box up or no?
Pardon me now?
Usually when you click other in forms, it'll pop open a text box where you enter something.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Right.
That's actually JavaScript that would allow
Right.
you to do that. Yeah, so that's towards the end of the semester, and we do cover that.
All right, cool.
But for now, let's just say other.
All right.
All right. And you could have another text box that's there.
That's just there. That doesn't pop.
That doesn't. Yeah, and then we can show you how to pop it up later on. And then again, so convenience. By notice what is your name. If I click what is your name, it automatically focuses on that box. Okay. So right now, if I submit this form, notice that the required elements are what are your name, email address, and quest. Those are required by the asterisk. If I submit it, it's going to say, hey, wait a minute, there's a problem here. You forgot to enter your name, you forgot to enter your email, and you forgot your quest. Hit the back arrow. Now that's not a very good, hitting the back arrow is not a very good user interface approach, but it's all we need to do now. In Project 4, when we revisit this, it will redisplay the form, say there's an error here, here, and here, fix it. Okay, but for now, baby steps. So we hit the back arrow, and we select a quest, but we still don't enter or let's just put in a stupid email. And so the quest we did select, we didn't put in a name, we put in a stupid email. Why stupid? Because it doesn't have an @ symbol in it. Okay, where am I? If I click submit here, okay, so it accepted the Grail, but it says, wait a minute, not a valid email address. Now my email address checker is really dumb, because in fact that's not a valid email address either. Stupid email @ because you need something after the @ but I don't care. I said at the very least just check to see that there's an @ symbol in it. Okay, which is good enough because it's really sort of tricky to check email addresses. In fact, tell me what's the only really legitimate way to check an email address?
To do the validation through the email address where it sends a message
Yeah.
and you validate it?
Yeah, really that's the only way. You would have to collect the email address, send them out a message with a clickback, right, that says click this link to validate. So really just validating an email address through the simple form is not good enough anyway. So we're just making sure they got an @ symbol. And then a name, and one of the requirements is that even single letter names are not acceptable. So like X would not be accessible, but Xi would be. And at this point, click here to submit. We'll accept the stuff, and all I'm asking you to do is spit out the answers. Okay, so the name, the stupid email, or the email, the quests, the colors selected, the airspeed that you chose, any comments. There's a hidden box in here, and then I additionally put this survey submitted, but I don't think that's a requirement. But do any additional fun stuff that you want to do on your survey. Okay, so is that understood what the requirements are? It should be really easy. Don't save it for the last minute. It's due Monday, the February 11th, thereabouts. So you got a lot of time.
Will it hold the
what's that?
Will it hold the submitted surveys?
Okay, now that's the extra credit.
Oh, all right.
You can write it to a file.
All right.
Okay, so you can write it to a file. Okay, so that's the, and you can view the source code if you want of the Monty form to help you. All right, so that's that. Okay, I'm going to stop this recording.